What should we stop teaching young children? Flattery will get you nowhere in the real world. It usually helps get you places, so go ahead and let little kids learn that sucking up works. Ferengi rule of acquisition number 33, it never hurts to suck up to the boss. r/unexpected 9. That we have to always forgive people who did us wrong. Let's instead teach that you have to let go eventually, and certainly remember the bastard's name. All hail the savior, stabbed B pants, who speaks such wisdom. Everyone has to go to college. I think a better approach is everyone needs training after high school for chosen career. For example, college, trade school, apprenticeship are all options. They are correct options for nurse, welder and plumber respectively. 100% agree and came here to say this. If not college, at least have it a social norm for parents to put their children in some form of technical training. Something that teaches people skills that can be used to acquire a real job. Regarding college, if you want to get a women's history degree or theater lighting degree, then go for it, but there should be some class or orientation that outlines how difficult it is to find a job with that degree and, if /found, what the average salary is. There's nothing wrong with either degree, but I feel like many starving 30-year-olds working minimum wage jobs would go back and change what they studied. For young girls, if a boy pulls your hair on the playground / bullies you, it means he likes you. For young boys, man up. Real men don't cry. Edit, that's a lot of points, so oh thanks everyone. I fucking hated this in school when boys picked on me. The dumbasses around me would say he likes you. That's not how love works. To hate snakes. Edit, looks like I have to address some comments. Humans are not born with an innate fear of snakes, they're born to easily develop that fear. And the way human culture treats snakes, with them almost always being depicted as scary / villainous, plays a big role in how that develops in impressionable children. It's okay to be afraid of snakes. What's not okay is to have and spread attitudes like the only good snake is a dead snake. Just because an animal freaks you out, doesn't diminish its right to live in the slightest. Snakes do a lot of good for the world, and their overwhelmingly negative depiction in popular culture and especially abhorrent events like rattlesnake roundups needs to stop. I'm not saying that we shouldn't teach a healthy level of respect, and that it's advisable to just pick up random snakes off the ground. But we do need to teach that they're not inherently scary or evil, and have just as much a right to live as cute and cuddly animals. And most insects. Spiders are downright useful. What to think instead of how to think. Are you telling me the droning mass of people all spouting the same boring messages as the last isn't the symbol of a successful society? Well, fuck. That they have to hug / kiss family members as a hello because it's polite. I fucking hated this as a kid. No, I don't want to kiss Uncle Bruce, he's disgusting and makes me very uncomfortable. But no, it's rude to say no. He doesn't even have to be gross. You don't want to kiss him, so don't. That they should like being around adults and interacting with them more than kids their own age. We think that a kid who can speak with adults is more mature, but the reality of it is that it puts them way behind socially. Yup. I can talk about jobs, college and politics with people over twice my age for hours, but making small talk with another teenager that isn't a close friend for 5 minutes is absolutely out of the question. That being in the military or having a blue-collar job isn't preferable to going to college. I'm enlisted in the USAF and I love it, plus garbage collectors make serious money. Yeah, college is good, but those jobs still need to be done. And also that blue-collar jobs and the military aren't only for people too stupid / unambitious / whatever for college. No shame in being smart and capable of getting a degree but wanting to be a garbage collector or enlist instead. To respect your elders, respect is mutual and is earned not assumed. We need to earn their respect just as much as they need ours for a healthy relationship. A certain amount of respect should be assumed among everyone. The assumption of some respect doesn't preclude the earning of additional respect. Yeah, I don't really buy this respect is earned stuff. You should treat everyone with respect by default. It's only when they give you a reason not to that you shouldn't. Otherwise we'd all be awful to strangers just because they haven't earned our respect. We should stop teaching kids that cereal is part of a balanced breakfast. I agree. Cereal was pushed on the US by Dr. Kellogg, who also advocated circumcision without anesthesia. He considered sex, all sex, to be sinful. Well, yes, but that's not really a good reason. It should be avoided, but mostly because it's nutritionally unhelpful. That if a boy hits a girl, or if a girl hits a boy, that means they like the other gender. Abuse should not be loved. I think Looper is talking about little kids on playgrounds. That's how I read it, as in, oh, the boy threw a rock at you / pulled your braid / tripped you. Don't be mad, it just means he likes you and doesn't know how to express himself. Would also give opposite gender example, but honestly as a little girl, if I was hitting you, I fucking hated you. And to Looper's point, shouldn't have been hitting anyone. This is what I meant. That they shouldn't ask questions and that adults are always right. I remember growing up and being taught that an adult's words were the truth, and life was so much easier when I discovered that a grown-up was just as capable of being full of shit as a child was. Be respectful, but don't blindly accept what's handed to you. Edit, cleaned up a mistake. Man, the shittiest part of this is growing up and realizing that your parents, the people you looked up to all your life, are morons as well. Don't take no for answer. Actually, this can have severe consequences down the road. I'm trying to teach my 4-year-old son that he sometimes won't get what he wants, and that he has to accept that. How do the parents who teach their kids not to take no for an answer ever get their kids to go to bed? By not taking no for an answer. That the teacher will handle any bullies. Stranger danger. We need to let them know that it's not just strangers that can hurt them. And there may be times when they need a stranger's help. They need to know that if we get separated at the zoo or mall, that they can rely on strangers to help them find me. We discuss how to tell who works wherever we are, lifeguards at the pool, employees at the mall, etc., uniforms, name tags, and how to get help. Most people in the world are good. I don't want them terrified that every person there is some boogeyman. I tell my kids to find a mom with a stroller and ask for help. My reasoning is that the mom with a stroller is full of baby hormones still, or at least the traces of, plus they already got their hands too full with kids / babies to try to steal mine. We should stop comparing them to other children, which is basically telling them they're not good enough. This absolutely shot me down as a kid. Honestly, who cares if Trevor was better at soccer when I was the top of my 5th grade class, making little kids kiss for a cute picture? That's disgusting. I didn't know people actually did that. Blue is for boys and pink is for girls. Blue used to be for girls, back in the 20s. And red was for boys. Because blue was a delicate color, like a robin's egg, and red was strong. Pink was for boys because it was a version of red. I'm not kidding. That their feelings don't matter. They do. They really do. Who the fuck says this to kids? Well, it's implied sometimes. When whining, some children are told to get over it and it leaves some trauma. Depending on how one is raised, small things really resonate with them. Might be out of a moment of anger, but it happens. The world isn't a fair place. That boy's this, girl's that. They have to keep eating even when they're full. This isn't about picky eaters or whatever. This is about schools forcing kids to eat all of their lunch despite not physically being able to. It's not a healthy mindset. I think this is one of the reasons we have an obesity issue in America. I think it's a leftover thing from the Depression. Agree? Starving kids in Africa and Clean Plate Club, sports medal, really messed me up. That the world is fair and just. Is this told to kids often? Whenever something went wrong and it wasn't my fault, I was told life ain't fair. Good things happen to good people, bad things happen to bad people, life is fair. My philosophy professor first day says karma isn't real. Right now a human trafficker or drug dealer just bought a BMW i8 and a Girl Scout just got hit by a car. I was like, well damn. Edit, can't respond to everyone, but I appreciate the views on what karma actually is or isn't. I don't think your teacher knows what karma is. Karma in the traditional sense is simply that bad actions have bad consequences and vice versa. Human trafficking is bad not because of some divine punishment for the trafficker, it is bad because it causes suffering for those trafficked and their families. This is just my 2 cents as a casual Buddhist. Correct any mistakes I've made if you see any. Telling them not to cry. I got bullied a lot in elementary school, and instead of helping me, the teachers would scream at me for crying, which just made me cry even more and create a perpetual cycle of screaming and crying, and that fucked me up for life. Yeah, my dad would do that too, stop crying, while raising his hand for a strike. And they wonder why I never call. That children should always do what they're told. If they're uncomfortable, or scared, or truly believe what they're being asked to do is wrong, they should be taught it's okay to stick up for themselves. I completely agree, but I also think there's a point where that goes too far the other way, like children who don't listen and talk back to everybody. From my teaching experience, that often comes from kids who don't trust the adults in their lives, though, not the kids who have trustworthy adults in their lives but are taught that they, too, are trustworthy. Stop just sticking them to an iPad or a phone or something to distract them from everything else. That college is necessary for success. It's not required, it could be depending on what career they want. And I know not every school does this, but since I was little I was told that the more school you get the more money you're worth. Stop giving everyone a trophy for team sports and declaring there aren't losers. This is setting children up for unrealistic expectations as adults. 1. Gen X, millennials' parents, invented/implemented this idea too. No millennial actually cared about their participation trophy if they didn't earn it. 3. Our parents are the ones who lost their minds if we didn't receive it. Gen X are here. We had occasional participation trophies in Little League when I was a kid, so they definitely existed before that. We definitely took it to the next level as parents though. Just ignore them and they will stop. Sometimes that's the answer. Sometimes it's disastrous. The real answer is don't give the bully what they want. So what to do depends on what the bully is trying to get out of you. If the bully is trying to get a reaction, or make you visibly feel hurt so that they can feel like they have emotional power over you, then ignoring them can deny them that and could work. If they're trying to feel powerful by creating a situation where they're dominant and you're submissive, or where they get to toy with you with impunity, then being passive instead of fighting back would worsen it. In general, don't reward behavior you want less of. So that means understanding what the bully considers a reward. It works in the adult world, because it's actually possible to avoid someone who you have issues with. This option often isn't actually available to children. And if you try to ignore them, they'll just keep ratcheting up the intensity of their behavior until they find your breaking point.